Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. So in this live stream I'm going to show you how to use the popular Visual Studio Code to create sequence diagrams. So right here you go to their website. I'll put this in the comment, code.visualstudio.com/download. So you download the version for your operating system. So we're using Windows. So you're going to download the version for Windows, and once it downloads we install it, and I'll show you some of the things that some of the cool stuff you can do with this. So I'm just gonna click on it because it's downloaded now, and then I'll install it. Alright, so accept agreement, next, and just leave the settings the way they are, and then install. Then after the installation we're gonna get some plugins. So what we're gonna do for the sequence diagram, we're gonna use plant UML. Alright, plant UML, and um this is a very unique tool, a very cool tool, because you can actually use it on the web, but you can also use it directly from the Visual Studio Code. So I'm going to try to run it directly from the web and see. So let's get an incognito. All right, so it's downloaded here. So here's what we have. This is a test that I had earlier on performed. So I'm gonna close this out and just go to the web. So let's go on Firefox. You can go on any browser of choice. You're going to planttext.com. So these are the tests that I did earlier on. So I'm just gonna click on refresh to get this displayed. All right, taking its time to run. Anyways, whatever I can get from this, yeah, a little bit slow. Yeah, so that's what just the test we created earlier on, just to make the example faster, or the tutorial faster. So what you have here, every time I make a change, so let me say C to Z, D, and then I say rest, then I have to refresh to get that displayed in the preview, and it's just not the best approach, right? To C to D, and there's no link between B and C, so let's just add that to C to B. Then you're gonna say thanks, just whatever you want to say, and then we're just gonna have that. So let's go back to the Visual Studio Code. So right here we have to add some plugins. So on the left hand side, let me all right, I want to hide my sidebar. All right, so on the left hand side you have um the files, and then search, and then you have the source control, run and debug, and then finally have your extensions. So in the extensions, that's where you want to go to get your plugins. So here you want to search for plant UML. It's going to give you some plugins here. The plugin that you need is the jabs. So get the jabs, reach plant UML jabs. I want to tell you why I'm choosing this, because it helps you to get instant previews. Some of the features is the instant previews and all that. You can just press Alt plus D for Windows, and then you can just get instant preview of whatever you the sequence you're creating. And once you do that one time, any other code that you write will be displayed automatically. You want to hide this, you can just press the extensions again, and it will be hidden. And then also, if you don't want to see the menu and all that, just press F11 on your keyboard. I think I'm gonna do function F11, and then the menu will disappear. Then if you want to get it back, function F11, depends on your keyboard. So mine has multiple functions on the function key, so you have to hold the function on your keyboard to be able to do that. So let's go and create some awesome sequence diagrams. All right, so I'm gonna close some of these that I have open, really, because we don't need them. We just have to start from the beginning so you can know. I don't want to save it. It's okay. We're gonna create ours, right? So what you're gonna do, you wanna create a folder. So click on File, create a folder, and then just give the folder a name. So I'm just gonna create a folder on my desktop, and I'm gonna call it tutorial. So new folder. I'm just gonna say sequence plant tutorial. Let's say plant, or UML. Let's say UML. No, it just saves the um all right, so we wanted it to be inside desktop. So inside desktop we want to call it UML. So let's change it, UML underscore tutorial. All right, so that's the folder we need. We'll select the folder. So inside this folder, that's where we're gonna do our magic. All right, trust the authors. Yes, I think we do. And then inside this folder, it's very important that you create a folder first, and then inside the folder you want to create files. So you go here and you click on new file. You can also create new folders if you want subfolder within the tutorial folder, but you can just create file and then you give it a name. So let's give this one hello world. Let's say hello world, hello Visual Studio Code. Let's say that, and then you have to give it an extension. The extension is dot plant UML, or you can say dot PUML, and so on and so forth. So let's do plant UML. So, and then here is where you do your magic. So you can say so teacher. First of all, you're gonna do it with start UML. Press enter or carriage return to take the suggestion, and you can see this is underlined, so it's asking you to do something. You can ignore it. It's not an error, it's just an idea what you could do better. I will show you that later. So, and then end UML, of course. Take that suggestion. Now, why do I have this here? So let's hover around it and see view problem. So it says it doesn't have a name. So diagram unnamed. So let's name it. Let's call it plant tutorial. Plant UML tutorial. Okay. Now the error is gone. Now we can start creating awesome sequence diagrams. This is good for engineers, or even if you're in a process engineer or a design engineer. This is good for you to create sequence. So I'm gonna inside here write a story that we're gonna create a sequence for. So the story is, as a user, I want to be able to show the sequence of events to my audience. All right, so this is what you want to do, and as an audience member, I want to be able to understand clearly what was being shown. And then you can also shown. All right, so it's asking me to take this suggestion. I don't want to take that. And then you can say as a let's change this to teacher. As a teacher, I want to number my sequence of events. All right, and then you can say also as an audience member. I'm sure you notice something is wrong with what I'm doing here. Member, I want to be able to identify the steps already taken. Now we're just making this up. And then let's just so as a teacher, so what you teaching I want to show how to, as a teacher, I want to show my students how to use plant UML. Now you can just say as a student, or just remember as a student. Okay, let's just add another participant here. As a student, I want to learn how to use plant UML. All right, so we've tried. So what we're going to do now is we just want to comment these out because we don't really want them to be part of what we're doing. So to comment it, so just select everything and then you hold control and slash // right? So that's how to comment it out. You can also do, I think there's another shortcut. If I don't, I think, let me see if there's another shortcut for this. Yeah, there should be other shortcuts for that, but the easier one is what we just used right now. So all right, I just cut it out, but that's not what I wanted to do. All right, so I'm gonna show you other shortcuts maybe in another one, but this one for now, let's just do what we know how to do: control / and then that is out of uh, the tutorial. So now it's just a comment for us to look at and see the sequence we're trying to create. So as a teacher, so we have three participants here: the teacher, the audience, and the student. So the audience is going to watch what is going on, and then the teacher is going to demonstrate to the student what he wants to do. So the first player here is going to be teacher. So let's just say teacher, and then the teacher says to students, or maybe audience, it doesn't matter. Just going to show the sequence. Welcome. So the teacher says, welcome to the audience. Welcome to my tutorial. All right. And then the audience says, thank you. They're saying that to the teacher. So thank you very much. All right. So let's see this sequence displayed. So you right click within this area and you just click on preview current diagram. And then it will generate automatically those two lines for you, the teacher and the audience. Right, so we don't really want to see this much, so we can make this a little bit smaller and that. All right, so the teacher says, welcome to my tutorial. The audience says, thank you very much. So this is cool, right? So let's see, let's say for the students, let's say let's make their name double. Let's say class student or something like that. Oh, or smart students. Let's just qualify all students to be smart students. All right. All right. So let's now add the students here. So teacher to the students. So you type the hyphen and then the angle bracket, and then you say smart students, and then you say welcome to my class. All right. Let's see what happens. All right, so this goes weird right now, right? So it goes teacher, smart student, welcome to my class, and the sequence diagram doesn't look like we wanted it to be. No worries. So we say smart students, students says to the teacher, teacher, colon, before you write what they say, thank you very much, sir. Okay, let's see what happens. It will automatically generate if it's okay, but we get error. Right, so I know why we're getting this error, and I did it on purpose. That's why I changed this to be double names. So if you're creating a sequence diagram that has two names as one of the players or participants, then it becomes harder to write it down this way. So I'm doing this to introduce another concept here. So we're gonna call these participants. We're not making it up. That's just what the creators of this plant UML did. So participant A, we're gonna say as teacher, and then we're gonna just copy this and paste it over, or you can type it if you want. All right. So A is teacher, then B is the audience, and then C is the smart students. Smart students. And then D is say principal. Principal of the place, right? Now we're gonna change up all this. So teacher is A, audience is B, audience is B, teacher is A, teacher is A, smart students is C, smart student again is C, and then teacher is A, and boom, you can see. Awesome. Now if you want to have double names, it's cool, it's good, but just call it a participant, and then uh, the participant is participating as, then you put the name in parentheses. So for this, let's switch this up. Let's say principal here, principal as. Now we're gonna just remove this and say as D, principal as D. All right. So you saw the error. The error is gone because you can actually interchange them. Principal. Let's say let's add vice principal as well. Participant. I think we copied it, so we can paste it, and then participant vice principal. So vice principal as E. All right, vice principal as E. Now we can start introducing these people, so you can see them showing up here. Right, the principal is there, the vice principal is there, the smart students, the audience, and the teacher. All the players and participants are in our view. And right away, remember, contrast this. So let's copy this over. Let's copy our code over to copy everything over later for later, and just replace everything we have here. We have to wait, and we have to click on refresh before it updates. It doesn't update automatically, and then when you click on it, you have to wait a little bit. They give you the same result at the end of the day, but if I change something, if I delete these, and nothing happens, I might not know there's an error yet. So I have to click on refresh. Then when I click on refresh, I see the change. That's why I'm introducing you to uh, Visual Studio Code, right? You can do this right easily with just going on the web and typing planttext.com, and you start writing your code. Lots of examples online, but Visual Studio Code are a very great way of doing this. Now, so what else do we need to do here? So you can create some alt and stuff like that. So let's see. If I want some of the text to be read, or maybe I want this text to be centered, because actually they are all left aligned, which is great. So what you do is at the top, you just go on scheme parameters, scheme param, and then you want to align the text. Sequence message alignment, that's what we want, and we want them to be centered. And I think you have to spell it in this way of spelling center, right? So everything is now centered, right? You can make it right if you want, and just give it a few seconds, and then it will align to right. So do whatever works for you. Center. And then there's also another way of, like, you have all the participants at the top and also at the bottom. If you want to remove the bottom one, I think you have to make it a strict scheme param. I think strict UML, and then the bottom rows will just disappear. strict UML scheme per should disappear, didn't disappear. So we're gonna fix that and figure out maybe we didn't type everything correctly. Strict UML, strict UML. Yeah, that's what I wanted to do. All right, there's an error here, syntax error. All right, so I'm gonna fix that later. Give me a few seconds. One thing that just came to my mind is that we have to give it a title here. We give this a name, but we didn't give it a title. So right under here, we have to just type the word title and then give it any name you want. Say Visual Studio Code Tutorial. Let's just give it that name. Then it's just gonna pop up here, and then we can give it a background and so on and so forth. One of the things I also want to add here is that I want to group this to the school, the principal and the vice principal. Let's put them as a section, the teacher and the student as a section, and the audience as a different group. So let me show you what I mean. So here I'm gonna say where I have all these participants. So here I'm gonna start a box, and that box I will end my box here, end box, yeah, right. So it ends there, and then I can give it a color, so I can give it a name too. I can say officials. Let's start with capital officials. Yep, maybe school officials will be better. School officials, and then I can give it a color, so you just hashtag, and then I want them to orange. I like orange colors. So it's gonna just, the background will now change to that. And then for the teacher, the audience and the students, teacher and the audience, the students, what do we give them? Students. And we can create another group here too and just give them a different name. So let's go here and change this to this is gonna be F. Let's make this F, then make this G. We haven't created a sequence for that, so it's fine. So that's because I want to add graduate students here. So this will be D. Actually, this will be E, because this will be D. All right, E. So smart students, we're gonna change that to graduate students, and then the teacher, and so this will be our new B, and this will be our C. So B, who's gonna be our B? So the teacher, just say faculty. Okay, let's just call them faculty, and then yeah, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Okay, so the reason I'm doing this is because I want to create a box here and end it over there. So end box, and then this box we're gonna call it say faculty staff members. All right, we're gonna give them a color, hot pink. Teachers as great in the society, so let's call them hot pink. And all right, so the faculty is hot pink, and then we're gonna group the graduate students and students together. So graduate students and students, and yeah, so another box, we're gonna give them a name. Let's just overall, let's call all of them smart audience, and then we're gonna give it a color. I like cyan, so let's make them cyan, and then we'll just end the box, end box. All right, so that will be smart audience, our smart audience, and then general audience will just be audience. So let's create another box here. Box. You can have as many participants as you want within each box. And box, and then we're just gonna give them general audience, and we'll give it a color if we want. We don't have to, but if we want to give it a color, what color? Let's give them gold. All right, now so this is how you create this. So you just go around and create the groups if you want, and then you start writing your sequence. Now you already know how to write the sequence because we've created an example already. I don't have to fill out everything, but you've seen how it goes. Now, remember that in our requirements here, somebody says, as an audience member, I want to be able to identify, what does he want to identify? The steps already taken. So let's make it a little bit bigger so you can see that the steps already taken. So right now we can't tell exactly what steps have been taken because it just goes, teacher says to faculty, um, welcome to my tutorial, thank you, welcome to my class, thank you, and all that. Remember, we renumber this so it's not going to the students anymore. So let's make it go to the students. We know that the smart students are D. So welcome to my class, so we'll go to D, and then it will now come from D to A, so that the flow will be correct. Now the audience will be struggling to understand where this is going if it's more than this number. So let's make it a little bit longer. So if I say A, let's make it bi-directional. So angle bracket going this way, angle bracket going the other way, and then the teacher, which is A, is talking to the general audience, and the general audience, according to us here, is C. So he's saying to C, thanks for coming out today. Thanks for coming out today. This is just example, right? So that sequence will be created for us. Thanks for coming out today. Well, it's bi-directional, so it can be thanks for coming out today. Let's make it not bi-directional. Let's make it to make sense. And then we go C to teacher, C to A. Remember, when you put this dash, you have to put the angle bracket right away, and then the participant you're talking to. It is our pleasure. All right, so let's make a request. Let's make a request. Who's going to make the request? Graduate students will make a request. So who are the graduate students? They are under the smart audience. So graduate students is D. So D says to A, which is the teacher, um, we are glad we were your students. Now I'm trying to write something that is just abstract, like we're just making this up as we go. And so it goes that way, and then they'll make a request. So let A respond first, and then they'll make a request. A to D. It was really my pleasure being your teacher. I think I'm just speaking for myself here. And then one more thing I want to do here is to do a request. So let's make a request. So the new students, which is smart students, is no. So it was supposed to be E that is saying we were your students. So it is E that said that, the graduate students, and then back to the graduate students. Yes. Now it's easy to change, right? If you use laters, just easy to change. Now we can say, remember, you can use double laters. It doesn't matter. I can do FA. I can use P for principal, just for starting it, and then vice principal can do VP. It doesn't matter. You can do whatever works for you. So we're gonna do those shortly. So let's go here and say the graduate students. Let's say vice principal and principal welcomes the audience. Okay. So principal to vice principal, please welcome the guests to today's lecture. Right. I just wanted to show you can use two letters. Doesn't matter. Um, VP. All right, the VP doesn't work because I the V doesn't work because I called it V, but there's no participant declared as V. So you can't just make things up. You have to use what you have already declared. So the P, yeah. So I declared P, but I wrote V. It doesn't work that way. You must use what you've declared. If you want to use V, then declare V. All right, so we got a correction taken. Now you can see this line is so long and it's pushing our making our sequence diagram to be short. So please welcome the guests. We made a mistake, so we're gonna fix that to our tutorials lectures today. So we're gonna have this in two lines. So welcome today's guests. So after guests, I think that should be enough. So we just put /n \n. We'll create a new line. You just cut the long sentence in two and then put the new line underneath. That's as simple as it is. All right, we can our special guest. Let's put special here, special, and then we're gonna cut the line here instead. /n, remove the second /n because we just need one /n. Our special guests, so it's gonna fix. Right, so let's make the guest special guest. Let's make the guests bold. So for that, we're just going to put angle bracket type B, close it. Then at the end of guests, angle bracket \B again, close it. And now it's going to be bold. The guests will be bold. Awesome. Now we can change the color, special. We want it to be different color. So I think if you do color and then say red, for instance, and over there, close it and just say color. I think this should do it. Yeah, so it just makes the special to be red. Now we want it to be bold as well. So in other words, we have to put this is HTML tag. So we're going to use HTML tag for bold and just close the tag and the special becomes bold. You can change the color you know if red doesn't work for you. So let's make it green. All right, I think green is better. So it just changes to the color that you want. So this is how you create a sequence diagram. Again, one of the requirements that we're working with says that we want to be able to identify the steps already covered. Now it is hard. It's getting harder and harder to identify the steps, right? So how do we fix that? Easy. You're going to type one word for me at the top. Before you start creating your sequence, you can do it here. You can do it anywhere, but let's do it right above our sequence. So you just type this special word auto number. As you start typing, you get an autocomplete and then you just take it if you want. As soon as we select auto number, everything now is numbered for us, all the steps 1 to 9. We know the steps, so the audience member can say, excuse me sir, can you tell me more about step number 7, right? Now, okay, so let's but if you want to jump, you want the step to start with 10, so you can say auto number 10, it starts from 10 and then increments 11, 12 and so on. But if you want to start from 1 and then you want to change a particular one to a different number, so you can say auto number and then just say 10 right here, and then from that point down it will change, so you have 1 to 6 and then 10 to whatever. So but if you do this, then it shows that probably there's something missing between 6 and 10. So if you want to do that, I would recommend you use this. I'll just say break. I'll just call it a break. So what I wanted to do is just to create a line that goes across the whole sequence and then shows me that there's something that I'm doing here that is different. You just do that and that's awesome. If you want it to be a little bit bolder, well, I just by experimentation, I discovered that when you have triple equal sign, it will become a little bit bold and a little bit bigger. So something happened that I had. Okay, I think something happened. Why did I have the box? Oh, okay. Maybe it was just a fluke. But anyways, let's see if I have 4 on each side. Or it goes smaller again. So, well, let's just use the double. Now we're going to create an alt. An alt is just to maybe an alt or a group. To within this flow, we can create some subgroups or functions. For instance, if this or that, this else that, so you can create that here. You can just say alt, and then I think you just end it with an end. And so what is going to happen is it's just going to create an alt group there for you. And then you can also say within here, you can say else. So if I have an else statement, I think you can do if else. So there's an error here. Else, if else, let's see. So you're saying if this, so if the requirement says if this happens, do this, else do that. So you can see the dotted line that shows my where my else statement started. So if condition is right, do that, else do that. So that's my if else statement, right? So within this alt, you can have another alt inside. You can also have a group and you give it a name. The alt just gives its author name, right? So author name. Um, Let me just say so whatever name you want to give it will show up here. So I'm gonna say if condition is right, if condition is right. So that's what I'm gonna do. If the condition is right, so I'm gonna declare it here. And then in my else, I say else condition is not right. Condition is not right. So if condition is not right, so we'll just so I can know clearly when someone else is reading it or the audience is asking me a question, they can say in your alt statement what do you think, and so on and so forth. So I can create alt inside an alt, or opt inside an opt, or a group inside a group. If I don't want to show alt here, I just want to show the name of my condition right inside this place, I can do that by I just say group, then I give it a name, and let's say next condition. Let's just say next condition, just for the sake, right? And then we just end it somewhere here, and we can just say end, right? So let's see what that does for us. Yeah, so next condition, right? So instead of showing the alt, I want to show my own the name that I want to give it. So next condition, and then and so on and so forth. So you can play around with this. I don't want this video to be too long. I know it's getting long already, but these are just the cool things I wanted to show you today. All right, so go ahead and create this if you're an engineer, or if you're, yeah, when I say an engineer, a design engineer or a process engineer, this will be useful to you. I try to not to use specific terms, just to make it as generic as possible. You can use it to create a sequence. At the end of the day, you just want to show flow from point A to point B, how they interact with each other, how they, how the sequence go. And I think I was saying I was going to make a request, but I didn't end up doing it. So let's make a request. To make a request, instead of having single arrow, just have double arrow. That's what it means. So let's just and you can make it actually go backwards without changing the names. So let me just give you an example. I'm going to copy this and paste it over again, and I'm going to change the arrow to be going both directions, and you will see it will update, and you see the arrow going both directions. Now I'm going to delete one of the arrows, the right arrow, and we'll see what is going to happen. So it still goes this way because I have B. It's going from A to B, right? A to B. So A is the teacher, so it doesn't matter that I put B first, but the arrow says I'm going from A to B. So, and the teacher is A, so it goes from A to B, right? So it doesn't matter the position of this, it matters the direction of the arrow that you're showing. Now if I want to make a request, I just put double dashes, and then this will change the dotted line. That's a request, and my response is the solid line. So the solid line is for response, the dotted line is for request. And you can also change the color of each of the arrows, right? So um and this is just cool. What else do I want to show you today? Maybe I make a follow-up video to show you how to change the color of the arrows, and so on and so forth. I don't want one video to be too long, but if you have issues, let me know. Again, one thing I realized when you download this the first time, you might be you might have, or your system might have an old version of Java, And for that reason, it will require you to upgrade the Java. Or as soon as you install the plugins, it might delay, it might take a while to start functioning, and you might think that something is wrong. No, sometimes it takes a while. Sometimes there are tens of thousands of lines of codes that are being updated, and it might take a while if you haven't used your system with an application that requires maybe the latest versions of Java, such that they were not up to date. So it takes a while to get updated to be able to show the preview. And once you are done, you can now export your image. Just right click, and you can export current diagram, and then you just pick PNG or SVG, whatever you want. You can then, after a while, it will just show you the report here. So your diagram has been exported, succeeded exporting diagrams. So your diagram is located in UML tutorial plant. Yeah, so, and the name is UML tutorial.png. And where did you get that name? It got it from here, UML tutorial. So the name of this file is what is showing you here, plant UML tutorial, plant UML tutorial.png. That's the name of your file. You're going to find it located within the folder that you created. We have UML tutorial, which is yeah, so yeah, right inside here, this is it. This is the diagram that we just generated from here. So you can copy it and save, and you can share with anybody that you want, right? So the picture is very, great quality, right? So it generates both vector and bitmap images. All right. So that's it. And again, these comments or tutorial or guidelines or the requirements that we're using to create this, just because we're making it up, right? So normally, as an engineer, you have a requirement diagram that you're a requirement document that you're looking at, and then using that to create a sequence so that your audience or your designers or the ones that actually consume the requirements are able to see visually how the system flows. All right, I must see you guys later. Please, if you have not subscribed, do well to subscribe and comment. And if you have already subscribed, I want to thank you for coming back always. We haven't posted videos for a long time because we got busy doing other things, and we're working on very, very, very busy schedules, working on so many things. And please keep coming back. We're going to make more videos, and in the coming weeks, in the coming days, actually, we're going to make some other videos. I have a tutorial I want to make on YouTube, how to create um I think it's how to arrange your videos from YouTube on an application so you can actually have your application on the go. I'll show you how to retrieve your videos automatically from your channel and have it displayed on an app, so that as you add more videos, your fans can actually watch it. So we're going to create one for our channel and put it out in Play Store, so all our videos will be populated automatically for you. So you can just download the app and you can see when we have new videos. And once you launch the application, you don't have to search the web anymore. Launch the application, and then the videos will be showing on your smartphone, right? So we're working on that video. We haven't finished it, but we're working on that video. We're going to share with you shortly. All right, thanks my friends. I'm gonna see you later.